me, like, Aisha, so anytime we had like any sort of function or something like that, they had me there on display, like, okay, cultural event, Aisha, you.
Aisha singing. This podcast is about you and your journey in music.
Yes. So
Awesome. So
I'm glad to be on the podcast and to be able to speak to you and your audience. So
I appreciate it. Yeah. So born and raised in Trinidad, huh?
Trinidad and Tobago,
What
yes.
was that like?
I mean, in the Caribbean is very, very different from being raised in America or in, like, Canada, being in a developing island. It's quiet, but it's a lot of sea, sand, breeze, trees. I love that sort of island life. So I've been enjoying it so far. Yeah.
And how did you get into music?
Well, my dad has been, that driving force for me. From a child, my dad, he's always playing the guitar. He was a part of a band himself. Well, he was a part of a parang band. So that parang is a type of music that we have here, which is, like, it's a Spanish flavor mixed with our local Trinidadian twang. So yeah, so he was a part of a parang band playing the guitar. He always shared his experiences with music with me. When he would be practicing, I would be there. We would have our little own private band sessions where we would be like, I would be singing and he would be playing the guitar. That's how I got involved. And then I started writing songs when I just wanted to express myself.
And how old
And
were you when you started to write songs?
maybe like 10,
Wow.
around
Okay.
10.
Really young then.
Yeah, but it would be basic songs, like it, it wouldn't be anything too, professional. It would just be, once, I felt as though I didn't want to tell anybody something, I would go and start to write, and it would almost be like journaling, but it would be, singing it all time.
Melodies. Yeah.
And then I continued from there. I would be in some songwriting camps. When we have calypso songwriting camps in my primary school, I used to take part in them.
Wow.
And
Your school really kind of embraced the
yeah,
arts, really. I mean, that's cool.
yeah, my primary school did. Yeah, that's very cool, because in my secondary school, it never had any of that. After that was it.
Oh,
So
really? So once at a primary school, they were done with the arts
well, no, they
or
are
done
done
with
with
the
the
music?
but no, and I wouldn't say done with the music, but in terms
Hmm.
of the songwriting camps,
Ah.
having that opportunity to like learn from another great artist, like how to write a song,
Uh-huh.
yeah, they don't know. So in the primary school level, I was fortunate enough to do that and take part in that. And after that, I continued to try to develop it on my own and
Uh-huh.
continue to write songs. And I did have a break from music, I would say. Yeah, because I was pursuing a degree in the University of the West Indies. So I was pursuing my degree, and because I was pursuing my degree, I kind of shifted from, looking at music and doing that into more of a, what is international relations and what
Uh-huh.
and what is psychology, and trying to understand that. But I had my moments where, like, I would still be like, okay, well, the music though. So
You always still had the passion.
yeah, it was still there, and I thought that it wouldn't have been,
Uh-huh.
but it was still there. So I would be like writing in my dorm, and it was later on when I realized that I couldn't get away from the music, or I couldn't like stop, writing, and I couldn't stop singing, and I just have to do this. That was when I really, picked it up as a craft.
And when what was that in college when you decided like I cannot put this down, I need to continue to pursue a
So
career in
in
this?
college was a sort of breaking point,
Mm-hmm.
because I actually had a moment where I was in my last year, of university, and like I had to have a conversation with my mom, and I had to be like, I feel like I just want to do music. Like I don't feel like I want to complete this degree right now.
Uh-huh.
And
That
she
must
just
have been a difficult conversation to have.
it was, yeah. And she was like, well, you're in your last year, so kind of try
Uh,
through now because it's kind of hard to, just stop now when you're in your
right. If you only had 1 year left, I mean, I could see that. Say if you had just started maybe being like, but if you only had a year left, it's like
good stuff, yeah.
probably just finish, huh? Did you finish? I would assume.
She pushed me, yeah. So I finished, and when I was done, then I was like, okay, well, I clearly need to figure this out. So I took some time. I volunteered to teach, but abroad. So
Oh, so you left the island.
yeah, so I volunteered to teach abroad in Colombia,
Okay.
and I was stationed in Cucuta in Colombia. And while I was there, I was like singing a lot in all these schools. They were always asking me, like, Aisha, come and sing. So anytime we had like any sort of function or something like that, they had me there on display, like, okay, cultural event, Aisha, you.
Aisha singing.
So that's what it was. And they gave me a lot of love and support. And by the time I got back to Bogota, because I had to, go back to Trinidad,
Hmm.
I really knew like what I wanted to do. And I was like, yeah, okay, this we have to do this. And when we go back, we're gonna try and we're gonna see and we're gonna explore. And it's been a really great journey so far.
Hmm.
So
When you like, I'm curious to know, when did you start showing your songs to people? Like when you're in high school, those years when you were writing. I mean, you said started at 10. Were you trying to write like full songs and performing them for people, or is that something that didn't come out till later?
yeah, no, I wasn't trying to perform them for people. When I was in secondary school, I like my friends and I we would all be singing and we had like this little group, like kind of girls group. And
Ah.
we didn't take it seriously. That's the thing. When I was in secondary school, we didn't take it seriously at all. But it was like I guess a secret for me that it was, a secret passion. This is something that I actually want to do.
Hmm.
I I think when I started performing in Colombia, that was when I started like showing myself and like allowing people to see my songs and that sort of thing. Yeah.
And you must have got a pretty good reaction from people to have
So
it spark into something you wanted to continue to do,
I think
obviously.
yeah, it was more of the encouragement.
Hmm.
So it was more than just the reaction from people like saying, "Oh,
Validation from that.
it was more than yeah, it was more than the validation. It was key individuals like my professor who was with me, who was teaching alongside me, and he was a Colombian teacher, and he was like, Aisha, you really need to do this. Like, don't like give up on it, like just those words of encouragement. I think those are the things that I needed to hear. Yeah.
Hmm. So once you got back to Trinidad, was that when you started to pursue music as like a career path?
Yes. So when I
And
got
how did you do that? Like, what
yeah,
was like you get back and you're like, okay, I want to do this music thing.
it's
Now
a
what?
exactly because I didn't know anybody who was
Right.
part of music. I didn't know how the hell I was gonna start. I just knew that when I got back that I had to start. So it was a bit of divine intervention, I would say, because as I said, I didn't know anybody. And then I saw the first chance that I got, I saw an opportunity where I could showcase my talents, and I jumped on that immediately.
Was it like a talent show or what was that
It
opportunity?
was, it was an uncovered show. So it was like, let's say Trinidad and Tobago uncovered. And it's basically where, you enter and then the contestants that win, they would get to do a song. Yeah, yeah, record a song.
Oh
Um,
wow.
so I was one of the eight that they chose. And yeah, and then I continued doing more of that. And then whilst I was doing that, I like there were these two producers that saw me on stage performing, and they were like, okay, so that was another contest, by the way. I
Oh, okay. So another contest that you entered.
Yeah, because I wasn't so much about winning, even though I did. It was more about just exposing myself.
It wasn't about winning, but you know, I won. Who cares?
Yeah,
It wasn't about that.
it wasn't about that. No, it was really about exposing myself, not even like lying. It was about exposing myself. So
Okay.
no kidding, so that I can meet those people. Because remember, I didn't
I'm
know.
just giving you a hard time.
So those those contacts are really important. So yeah, so for that one actually, I didn't win that one. Let's just so I didn't win that one. But
Okay.
but the producers did approach me like as soon as I got off the stage, and they were like, okay, so we know there needs to be a winner in this, but we still want to produce you because like that voice though. So
Wow.
yeah, so and that was a blessing because that's how I got my first song. And
Was the first song you did "Nobody Be Safe"?
yes, nobody.
Okay. So you got that from joining this or being in this competition, and then the producers coming up to you after and saying, "Hey, we want to work with you anyway." You know,
Yeah.
whatever. You didn't win. Who cares? And did you have that song ready, or was that something you had to build with these new producers? And was it hard working with people that you'd never met before, aside from
Right.
being in that environment?
Yeah, yeah, it was a brand new song. We went into the studio. That was my first experience being in the studio in Trinidad, and we went
What was
into the
that like?
studio. I mean, exciting. It was extremely exciting. Like, just seeing the setup and being in a space that I've always wanted to be in.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and we recorded a couple songs just to feel out to see what I like, what I didn't like, just so that they could get my vibe.
Mm-hmm.
And then the producer Kendall, he sent me a couple beats, and he was like, whichever one you feel the most comfortable on, you could go ahead and see how you could write on that. And I was like, okay, cool, this is cool, okay. And then I picked one, and yeah, I picked one, and then I sat down at home and I wrote on it. And then he was like, okay, this is good, this is good. And we went into studio and we recorded it, and that was it. And
Wow. So
that
now
was
that you have a song, so now you have Nobody to Be Safe. And then what's the next step from there? It's like, okay, I got the song complete. Let's
exactly.
go. Like what was next for you?
So after that, then I met another producer, and we actually became really good friends. And he was like, okay, well, let's work this out. Let's see, like, if we could put out some more music. And that's how I did Soca Fever baile. So
Okay.
Soca Fever was a part of a rhythm for carnival, because we have carnival down here. We celebrate
Uh-huh.
carnival every year. It's a part of our culture. So I'm very much involved. So soca is a genre that I write soca, and
Mm-hmm.
I like to fuse it with pop and dancehall and different other genres, just because I feel like it's more interesting. So for me personally, so yeah, so we continued that way, and he was like, okay, well, this is the beat, and see how you can write on it. And it's like, okay, cool. And did that one. We put out a big music video for Soca Fever, and I mean, and then from there, just keep going, and that's how it's been. Yeah.
Wow. And have you been able to play outside of Trinidad? Like have you been able to explore outside of your country?
Right, exactly. So that is something that I am looking forward to, because actually before before COVID-19,
Oh my goodness. They shut you down?
before COVID-19 decided to just, appear,
Destroy everyone's life.
that
Sure.
was, that was something that was, definitely in the works. That was something that I was looking forward to.
Oh.
I still am looking forward to it. So, God willingly, as
Mhm.
soon as our borders are opening very soon as well. So, as soon as that happens, I think is Saturday. So then I can start making,
Oh, they're opening up on Saturday, huh?
yeah. So
Wow. I'm curious to know how the virus like I've spoke to a lot of people around the world and I've yet to talk to somebody from Trinidad
yeah.
and I'm curious to know how was it there? Was it like the cases really bad? Like how did the like was there a crazy lockdown? I'm sure there was.
Mhm.
It's curious to me because I mean, like the whole world shut down, right? And it's not just like a few countries. It was like
Every
every country in the world was stopped. So how did that affect you there?
Yeah, well, in the beginning, we were actually, I want to say it's not a competition, but
Right. No, I'm just curious to
we
know
were,
how did
no, I just say like it's not a competition, but we were doing really, really good, in
uh
comparison to other Caribbean
parts
islands.
of the oh, okay.
But then, then it just went
Uh-oh. It
like
went nutty.
good. We tried to keep our numbers down, social distancing, all those good stuff. And we really were expecting a reopening of Trinidad like last year. But then I think another strain of the virus found its way in to Trinidad, and that's when everything just kind of went downhill. And then we had a whole state of emergency,
Oh,
and
wow.
that's where like yeah, so it's basically it was quarantining. It's still very strict right now, but we are seeing like the numbers decreasing
That's nice.
slowly, but they are decreasing steadily, so we're hoping that it keeps decreasing, because what happened was there was a for Easter, for our
Mm-hmm.
Easter, now this is just my thing. This is just my theory, right? I'm
Okay.
not saying that this is what happened, but this is my theory. So Easter, there was like a lot of people going to the beach,
On
and
Easter. So in April.
yes, and
Okay.
that's when everything just went down.
Oh.
So there was a lot of beach. There was a lot of lack of social distancing. We have a lovely island called Tobago, so Trinidad and Tobago,
Yeah.
and um, yeah, Tobago was full, like full. Tobago had a lot of people, and yeah, so naturally the numbers increased, and we had a spike of COVID.
Oh, and that was in April then. So Trinidad and so Tobago is an island off of Trinidad.
Yes.
I'm so bad with geography. I'm sorry. And
No,
what
no,
would you?
that's absolutely no problem. Yeah,
Because now I'm gonna Google it because I thought I knew what I was talking about, but now I just want to double check myself.
yeah, yeah. So Trinidad, and then we have Tobago. That's like a little island. Well, Trinidad is small too, but Tobago is a little off of Trinidad.
Oh, yeah, because I was like, I thought Trinidad was an island in itself. It is, right? But then
Yeah,
there's a smaller island called Tobago that's off to the side of it. Got it. Okay. And did you grow up on Tobago Island or Trinidad?
Trinidad, Trinidad.
Okay. And how many people does Tobago hold?
You could Google that one for me.
Oh, okay. You don't know. I didn't know if you knew off the top of your head. Like, oh, it's like a couple hundred people, or is it a couple 100,000 people? I would assume it's probably not that big.
You could probably say 100,000.
Okay, so that's pretty big, bigger than I would imagine. And did you go? Was that a place that you guys would go like vacation to, or okay?
Yeah, Tobago has lovely beaches, like some really lovely beaches. Pigeon Point, Scarborough. It's developed. They have a lot of hotels. It's for tourism.
Uh huh.
So yeah, and Trinidad is just as nice. But I would say that it's a little less tourist oriented. I'll say.
I
Yeah.
see. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, I'm so bad with geography. That's one thing I wish I would study harder in class. But I click on these Pigeon Point Beach, and wow, how beautiful!
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Wow, and then there's even a little Tobago. Did you ever go there?
No. No.
Did you, do you know what I'm talking about? There's even like another little island off of Tobago that looks cool too. Um, well, that's awesome. So that got infested, and then people are coming back onto the main island, and that's where it kind of got a lot
Yeah.
of cases.
I mean, I'm not sure if their traveling back to Trinidad caused it or not, but I just know that the social distancing and
Didn't be
those things, yeah, those
went
things
out the window.
definitely compromised. Yeah.
Okay, I see. All right. So where were you at when this happened? You just had big plans to tour outside of Trinidad?
I mean, when that happened, no, when that happened, I think I was writing. Yeah, I
Okay.
was in studio. We were doing a lot of work actually. I was doing a lot of moving back and forth because I live in one city. I live in San Fernando, and that's a city in the south. And then I go to the studio in Port of Spain, which is a city in the north. So I was doing a lot of back and forth.
Oh, how long does it take to get to Port of Spain? Yeah, because that looks like
Like,
it's on the other side of the
yeah,
coast there, right?
like an hour. So from San Fernando to Port of Spain is about an hour. Yeah.
Oh, it's not horrible.
No, it's not horrible. But I
Okay,
was
so it looks like so you could probably drive what across the whole island in what a couple hours.
yeah.
Well, that's not horrible. That's cool though. Was that a big thing? Did you travel all over? Like, did people do big traveling around there, like the other parts of the of Trinidad?
Mm, not
Not
really.
really.
No.
You kind of stay where you're at.
I mean, if you have something that you want to go to that's on the other side, then yeah. But to say that it's like a thing where people try to go around the island and meet different points, not not so much.
Not so much.
Not so much. But yeah, I was doing a lot of studio time in Port of Spain.
Is that a
So
bigger city, or is that just where the music, where the cities? Okay.
yeah, yeah. No, there are studios in San Fernando as well. But that's just where, my team was at, and that's where we were doing it. So that's how come I was there, and I really didn't want to stop just because it was important to me, but
Uh-huh.
same time, your parents and family safety first.
Sure.
So yeah.
So you were writing, going up there, and then what? Okay, so you released a song last year called "Lifestyle." Was that something that you had out? Like, were you writing that song during the pandemic, and then it like shut everything down? So you released the song. Like, where were you with that song?
Lifestyle was before COVID-19.
Ah, okay. And the album or the record came out after or before COVID even happened too.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so it was beginning of 2020.
Yes. And
Oh.
One Dance, which is the song after Lifestyle, One
Uh-huh.
Dance was during the pandemic.
Okay.
Dance was right at the beginning. Um, Actually, One Dance was, I was looking for a beat before I knew that it was going to be One Dance and all of that.
Uh-huh.
Um, and one of my other producers that I know, he sent me something. I was like, do you have anything that you could possibly send that I might be interested in? And he sent me this beat, and I was like, okay, yeah, this is nice. Of course, it wasn't the first beat that he sent me, but I was like, this is cool. And then pandemic. So it was like,
Oh.
all right. But I do have this beat doing it, singing real good, so let me still work on it.
Okay.
So worked on it, and then we really didn't know how severe the situation was at the same time. So, it didn't really, I wasn't, flustered or scared or anything just because I wasn't sure, right?
Mm-hmm.
So being in this space of uncertainty, I was like, okay, still gonna continue. So I started writing and stuff like that. And then we recorded, well, I recorded a demo, and then I sent it to another producer, and he was like, okay, this is really, really cool. And then he asked me if he could have permission to turn it into a rhythm. So that would just mean that, there are other artists that would feature on the
Uh-huh.
song. I was like, okay, well, yeah, the more the merrier, right? So I wasn't really upset. I was like, okay, yeah, sure, that's no problem. So then we got who we have Pretty on it. We have the groovy Soca Monarch winner. So that is College Boy Jesse. We have a couple other artists on it, Michael Tasia. So yeah, so we were able to continue right. I think this was the first soca rhythm that was put out since COVID-19. Yeah, since
Uh-huh.
the pandemic started.
So
So
you're
when
able to
we
have a
did
lot
that,
of collaboration. Yeah, a lot of people jumping on the song. That's really cool.
yeah. So, and actually when we did that, then it ended up making papers because then they were like, okay, so, soca lives on, even though the pandemic and this and that. And
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, it's cool, it's cool. I was like, all right, nice. And And yeah. And then I had sign your name after.
Yeah, that's more recent, right? That one recently came out.
Yeah, that one is recent.
Tell me
Yes.
about that song. It's doing
So
well. I mean, it's getting a lot of press too.
yes, yes.
So
Sign your name.
congratulations. That's cool.
Thank you. Yes. So sign your name was written on what was sign your name? Sign your name was on the Spotlight album. So there are other artists on that album as well, and that was
Hmm.
in collaboration with Music TT. And I wrote Sign Your Name with another writer, Daryl Juve, and he's an international songwriter, and he writes for a lot of the soca greats here and in the other islands as well. So it was really cool working with him. And the producer on on that record is sorry for being so, but there's a lot of names. Yes,
Yeah, there's a
G.
lot of people. I'm looking at the record right now, and you have the most plays, by the way. So congratulations on that on the album. I mean, no, you
Yes,
know, no big deal. Like winning that contest.
yeah. So JC was the producer on Sign Your Name, and he's a Billboard charting producer. You know, Aria winning and all sorts of things. So it was cool. It was very cool working with him. And actually, I think he's the first international producer that I've worked with. Yeah,
Oh wow.
because he's the first. Yeah. So it was cool doing that with him, and and yeah, that was my first collaboration as well. That was produced. Yeah, that was my first collaboration. In terms of songwriting. Yeah, because I never really, well, I haven't put out a song just yet that I've would co-written, like written with
Oh
another.
yeah. So was that a that song was a co-write? Say your name.
Yeah,
Okay, and that was the
sign your
first
name.
time you ever or sign your name. Sorry, co-write. That was your first co-write you ever done.
That was the first, yeah, and yeah, yeah, it was a really easy process though, and I didn't really think that it would be so simple, you know, writing with somebody in person, you know,
Mhm.
because normally I'm accustomed writing like on my own, doing my own thing, like wherever, it doesn't really matter because I don't have this you know, sacred space that I need to write in, you know, like otherwise I can't do it again. No. So I would literally, I've trained myself to write anywhere. Like I
Oh.
want to be able to write anywhere on the
Hmm.
bus. It doesn't matter. So so yeah, so it was different. It was different, but
Was
it was easy because yeah.
I'm surprised it's easy. Like I'm surprised you weren't more like intimidated or like was it hard to be vulnerable with somebody that you knew had all these credits to their name?
Right. So that thought hit me at first, but then it didn't matter.
Okay. Shrugged it off pretty quick.
Yes, but it didn't matter. Yeah, because let me tell you how the process went. So he was like, okay, so you choose this beat, you like this beat, okay, we could work on it together. I was like, okay, cool. And then immediately I was like, okay, let me try and think of something that I could say that I want to say on this. Um, and then the chorus came to me, and I started sign your name came to me like immediately, and I started working on sign your name, and I made a chorus, sent him the chorus. He was like, "Oh, this is cool. Okay,
Uh-huh.
let's meet in studio. When we meet in studio, we're gonna figure it out." Okay, cool. So we go in studio. The chorus is already laid. He's like, okay, I feel as though, okay, so tell me what you want to say. And I basically just said things, and he was like, okay. And then he added lines. I already had lines there. I had some things that I wrote out that I was thinking about before. So he took some of those, put it, you know, added wherever. And by that time, we already finished half the song. Like, so then it's just bridge. By the
Uh-huh.
time bridge, I was like, okay, well, I feeling like this. I started singing whatever it was. So we had the bridge. And then just end the song, just end the song, get little bits and pieces, and that was it. It was done.
Wow.
Literally, yeah,
That's amazing. That's
yeah.
amazing. And with everything opening up on Saturday, do you have any plans to perform out at all?
Right. I wish. Yes. No. Yeah.
No.
Right now, no, 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 no. Actually, what I'm thinking about is getting my vaccine. So
Oh, congratulations.
yeah, you have your vaccine.
Hmm. I got it a little while ago.
Okay, well that's great. I have to get mine. So yeah. And how was
Awesome.
that though? Like getting the vaccine, it didn't. It wasn't like you had fever or so.
Yeah. Well, the first one, no, because you have to get two. I don't. It depends on which one you go through, but I
Yeah,
had to get
you have to
two.
get two. Yeah.
And the first one, my arm hurt really bad, like really bad. Like I couldn't lift it up. Like it was weird, but I didn't feel bad as a, it was just like really painful. And then the second time, my wife got it and she was kind of sick like the next day, the second one. She was like she just felt like you're like she's about to get really sick, but then it never happened kind of thing. And I was more like tired. Like hours after I got it, I was like dying to keep my eyes open. It was weird. It was just like became immediately like lethargic. But then other than that, the next day I was kind of felt crappy, but not really that bad. I mean, it wasn't.
Okay.
That's my
I was
personal
right. Like,
experience. It wasn't horrid, but I've heard people get like my parents got it and they got like my mom got sick for like 3 days with like a high fever and so I guess it just
that's
depends
what
on your
I'm like
body.
afraid of getting it. Like that's why it took so long, and I was kind of like, I don't really want to get a vaccine at all. Like,
Right. I was the
mm,
same way. I didn't
um,
want to get it. My wife was like, "You're
yeah.
getting it." But I would say like I don't know, everyone's different, but I would personally on the second time we have to go back in 3 weeks or whatever. I'd recommend taking like a day or doing it on like on a Friday or something if you have to work. So,
Okay.
but that's just my opinion. Just so you have Saturday, Sunday, if you have something to do then on
It
Monday.
makes
But
sense. Yeah, no, it does make sense.
but yeah, that's awesome. And then hopefully soon enough, everything will be back to normal life, and you can continue those plans to come out here and play the states or play different countries, and
Yeah,
very cool.
that'll be awesome.
Well, Aisha, I think thank you so much for doing this. I appreciate it.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I have one more question before I let you go. Do you have any advice for aspiring artists?
Yes, of course. I have advice. One, be yourself and be okay with being whoever you are, no matter how weird you might think that is, or how goofy, or how it doesn't matter. Just own yourself and own who you are. I think that's really important. Network, of course. Network. Try and build up that little contact list that you might have, so you could reach out to different people. Networking is super important. Don't forget to market your songs, send them to different people, create an email list. I would also say, what would I also say? Be persistent. Persistency. Yeah, I think persistency is something that will get you through, those long days, those times when you just don't feel like writing, or you don't feel like making any music anymore. I think staying motivated and being persistent is like keys, like goals. So yeah.
Bringing it backward.